Thanks for calling into Color Me Psychic today. Where are you calling in from today?
I'm actually calling from Issaquah, Washington. It's just right outside of Seattle, Washington.
Awesome. So beautiful up there.
Yeah, it's really green.
That's so great. Let's go ahead and dive right in. So, what question do you find yourself asking over and over again that you want to explore in your coloring session today?
So the biggest reason why that I'm here is um, I find myself wanting to change careers almost the same time every year around the time of my birthday. Um, I have a stable job, but for whatever reason, I always want to change what I'm doing during that time of the year. And I do end up changing to something else. And for whatever reason, I feel like it doesn't work out immediately. And I feel like I regress and I end up going back to doing the same thing that I'm doing before. My career is, I'm actually a welder. It's a very stable career to have because it's always a need. Unfortunately, I feel like I've kind of capped out where I'm at, and I've been wanting to find something else, but I've tried changing so many times, and I feel like I just can't find my foothold to be able to change into that career, or I end up regretting changing careers and end up going back to being a welder.
Okay. Yeah, I think this is the perfect kind of question to ask, and that color mending can help kind of give you some insights on. So I want you to think about like every summer rolling around and kind of that feeling or sensation that you get when, would you say like you're questioning it, or is it just more of like curiosity or like wanting to grow, or like what, how would you kind of describe your mental space when you're in the summers and like exploring different options?
I feel like I want to run away towards something else. That's how I feel.
Okay.
That's exactly how I feel.
That's really good. That's a really good description. Really vivid. So think like see if you can just produce that sensation of feeling like you need to run away and run towards something else in your body. And then I want you to check in with your body and see where in your body, it could be one spot or multiple spots, but where do you feel that sensation of like wanting to run?
So when I do the scan and I'm breathing, Um, I can feel it on almost above my eyebrows, I
Mm,
guess just right here in the front,
okay.
and also in my chest, but I also feel it in my legs as well, like my just like my calves.
And how would you describe that sensation? Like, does it feel tingly or hot or scrunched or just like a lot of energy? Or how would you describe?
So tingly, in particular, when I think about it and when I visualize it, that's how I feel. I feel like the tingling sensation is above my eyebrows, and I feel like in my chest it does feel a little bit tighter, not as much tingling, and I feel like my legs are wanting to move.
Okay, love it. Would you say that this sensation, does it feel like heavy, like down, upset, or like something's off? Or does it feel more light, like kind of expansive or kind of curious, like sparking curiosity?
More light.
Okay, awesome. So I want you to take that tingly, tight, wanting to move, wanting to run towards something else, that sensation that you found, and then color it out using any shape and color that you want onto one piece of paper. You can take as much time as you want, and then just let me know when it's done.
Okay, sounds good.
So this is what you colored. Walk me through which shapes you colored first.
So initially it was the red square.
Mhm.
I guess it's more of a rectangle though in this case because it's not equal on all sides.
Did you want it to be a square, or is it okay being a rectangle?
No, this is okay. This is what I wanted actually. So, and then after that, I drew the triangles, starting from top to bottom. And then I drew I guess it's an ellipsis, just it's a, or I guess it's more of an oval. So an oval, and then the diamond, and then the oval. I, on that last part on the line, I wasn't sure what shape I was trying to find, but I kind of just stopped at that point because I feel like I was trying, I couldn't find what I was looking for at that point, so I stopped.
Yeah, that's great. I love the body awareness. This, I think you're gonna find that even though these seem like very simple shapes, they're gonna be kind of packed full of a lot of different clues and kind of meaning for us to kind of piece together and make sense of how to connect the dots. So I'm gonna go through and I'm just gonna pretty rapid fire just talk about what the shape and the colors mean. Keep in mind that these are just clues or data points. And then what's really helpful is to kind of gather all the information, and then we'll go back and we'll kind of piece it together, piece all the pieces together. I'm going to start with the red rectangle. So the red rectangle right here has to do with acceptance. So there's just like a sense of belonging and approval from others. Square or rectangles have to do with stability and how stable you feel. So I'd probably connect those two and just say because of the people that you're surrounding yourself with and the people in your life and how much they love and accept you for who you are. I want to give you like huge kudos on being able to create a community like that because it is such like a rare kind of treasure. It really kind of helps you feel very stable as like a person and like in who you're becoming. So that's the red rectangle. The three triangles, sometimes what we'll see, especially in drawings like this, if they are pretty minimal, but there are repeated shapes, it typically means that there's something there for us to look at. Our body essentially just wants us to gather all this information and kind of put the put this information on a silver platter for us to figure out what to do with and help us to make meaning.
Right.
The number three typically has to do with your life's purpose and your life's mission. Triangles specifically deal with your connection to your inner self. And then the color blue, it's coming through as like hopeful, like there's this hopeful optimism and a sense of possibility. So because you've done a good job at feeling really connected to like your life's purpose and your life's mission, and you feel like confident in being able to figure it out as you go along and knowing that it could change if you wanted to, that there's just like this kind of hopeful confidence about no matter what happens in the future, like there's a lot of like the self-trust within yourself. In colorings as well, sometimes if it's not a symmetrical kind of coloring, sometimes it could be helpful to look at like the positions of things.
Right.
So the triangles then being on the left side of the paper, the left side has to do with femininity or like feminine energy. And feminine energy isn't like just energy that girls have. It's more of like a way to talk about like going with the flow and kind of just being easygoing and creative and resourceful, and view it as like you're on like a boat navigating like a river, and sometimes there's rapids and it could be kind of scary, but other times it's really peaceful, but the whole time it's just like very calm and like you're ready for anything. What color would you say the ovals and the diamond are?
So this one, it's almost like a cobalt
Okay,
blue. It's more of a cobalt.
awesome. So this blue specifically has to do with peaceful, so like an inner quiet and contentment. Ovals have to do with how comfortable you are expressing like your caring side and just like being easygoing and being comfortable expressing like the feminine energy that the triangles and like the easy go with the flow energy is. The cool thing about the ovals being on the right hand side is that's the right hand side has to do with like masculine energy. So this is more of like the planning and the order and having processes and systems in place. The triangle or the diamonds have to do with your openness to change. And it's still coming through as like peaceful for that color, for that cobalt blue on that diamond. There's just a lot of like go with the flow energy. The squiggle line.
So there's actually a shape for that. I was like, I'm sure it's a wave because I because
Yeah,
in
if you
that
want it to be a wave, it could be a
yeah,
wave.
Yeah, because at that, I mean, because I mean, it's not that I couldn't find what to draw. It's like I intentionally drew the wave.
That's
I
great.
so I believe that's, I mean, to me, that's what it is.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. It's so funny that you're saying like it's a wave too, because a lot of what your coloring is showing is just like you're so comfortable and kind of just easy breezy, like go with the flow. You've got yourself. And waves have to do with your openness to change. And this, the blue, the cobalt that you used for the wave, it has to do with sincerity. So this is really just your like your openness and your like willingness to go with the flow and to kind of just be open to anything that life throws at you. It really has to do with because you're so comfortable and confident and just being yourself and like not putting up a facade and being authentic and just acting like an integrity as well.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
So I mean, and I can honestly say this from a perspective that you've given me. In a lot of ways, I don't. I I mean, in my job, it's a very masculine, very like hard job.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes I have a hard time wanting to fall into that category because I am such a caring person and I do care about people more.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, with my job, I felt I became a welder a very long time ago out of convenience because it was a good paying job
Mm-hmm.
and I was able to get in immediately. But I feel like I have a hard time fitting in because a lot of the guys that I work with, they're very hard. They're very like no feelings, like no expression, just like it's just unfortunately in the trades it can be it's a very toxic masculine place. Me on the other hand, I mean I feel like in a lot of ways like if I'm pretty sure when I was made, they made sure that I was a giant person because of how big my heart is.
I
So
love
that's why they gave me this. That's why they gave me this body is because I am such a nice guy to like and for me it's hard for me for that very reason. I identify a lot with all these shapes that you've actually talked about because I mean, I just don't see I don't want to be like the alpha male or anything like that. Like that's just not my thing, you know? Like it's
Yeah.
so I really do identify with all these shapes.
That's so cool. I think it's just your body. I love how you kind of talked about even just hearing you talk. I would just consider too, like maybe the running away is more because like of what you just kind of articulated of like you're such a big, caring, open person, and your big, caring openness and your authenticity is what helps you feel really stable. And you don't necessarily have to, I think, with like the alpha male tendencies too, sometimes it feels like a compensation. Like I have to go
Yeah,
really hard, but you just like don't have that. You're like, I just love who I am. I love the people that I have. I love like the life that I'm creating. And it probably just feels like you're like a peg being like a square peg trying to go into a round hole sometimes.
yeah, for sure.
It would be interesting to see to not just take whatever resonates and leave what doesn't, but it would be kind of interesting to see if you could find maybe a company that or like a cause that needs a welder or
Yeah,
something that feels a little bit more aligned with your caring side. And I know some welders in Austin who they were just like so creative and so like easygoing, and they ended up just finding like a little kind of welding shop that
yeah,
and it was a better fit for them than like a big kind of corporation type of a thing. But
yeah, absolutely.
yeah, I love it though. This is really fun.
Yeah, definitely.
The last thing I want to leave you with too, so the white, even though you didn't color anything, you didn't color the white on the background because there is some white space and all of the shapes are surrounded by it. White
Yeah,
has to do with being judicious. So this is like being thoughtful and balanced and not overly critical or accepting, but really kind of tapping into like a good balance of the masculine and feminine of I need to like very thoughtfully consider these things before making a decision. So it just kind of is like a pretty bow on all of it of like your masculine and feminine are very balanced. And I think even with hearing you talk, just being in an environment where it's like amplifying the masculine, maybe it's like you running away, being like, I don't want to leave this balanced state. I don't want
Yes.
to, like, I just want to find something else. But something is like pulling you back. Like, I would even say that your mission, like your life's mission, probably has to do with welding of some sort, or just like the projects that you could work on, because you keep coming back to it. So any time that we keep coming back to something or feel called, it's just because there's a lesson or something there that we haven't quite like got yet.
That
Uh,
makes sense. Wow. Okay.
I know. Any questions or thoughts on this?
No, no, this is really good stuff. I really like this.
You can use intuitive coloring, which is exactly what you did, of just identify a sensation in your body and coloring it out to move through emotions. So I used the color mending step-by-step guide to interpret your colorings. It has charts with colors and shapes. I also created a program called the Coloring Vet. So this is a 21-day challenge where you either get a digital download or a physical kit that includes the step-by-step guide. And it just teaches you how to guide yourself through color mending sessions and to be able to do this on your own. And the cool thing about it is that if you complete all the challenges in 21 days, you get your money back. You
Oh,
can scan the QR code here for anyone listening in and rewatching this to get your kit. And if you're interested in scheduling your own reading on Color Me Psychic, scan this QR code, and we'll see you all next time.